Why do scientists and locals alike tell you not to look too deeply into Appalachian forests at night? Did you know these mountains are so old they existed before the Atlantic Ocean formed, and that beneath them runs a hidden underground plumbing system capable of carrying toxic contamination for dozens of miles in only hours? Did you know mysterious lights still appear over one Appalachian ridge today? And that after more than a century of investigation, nobody has fully explained them? The Appalachians aren't just old mountains. They're a place where geology, biology, and human history overlap in ways that don't always behave the way we expect. These mountains were ancient before modern mammals existed, ancient before the Atlantic Ocean opened, and after 500 million years of erosion, collapse, flooding, isolation, and regrowth, they developed systems layered enough that even now, modern science still keeps finding things it didn't know were there. The mountains that shouldn't still exist. These mountains should be gone. The tectonic forces that built them ended hundreds of millions of years ago. What you see today is not the original range. It's the worn-down remains of something once comparable to the Himalayas. Fact number 22, the mountains older than the ocean. The Appalachians were once among the tallest mountains on Earth. Around 480 million years ago, continental collisions pushed peaks here above 30,000 feet. The same mountain chain stretched through what is now North America, Greenland, Scotland, and Morocco, all connected before the Atlantic Ocean split them apart. What survives today is only the eroded core. The rounded hills people associate with Appalachia are actually the stumps of mountains that have been collapsing for hundreds of millions of years, and they're still eroding right now. The mountains are older than the ocean beside them. But one river here may be even older than the mountains themselves. Fact number 21, the river that refused to move. The New River in West Virginia flows north, which already makes it unusual. What makes it extraordinary is its age. Scientists believe the river may be one of the oldest rivers on Earth. As the Appalachians slowly rose around it, the river carved downward at nearly the same pace, maintaining its original course through the mountains instead of being diverted around them. It essentially cut through a rising mountain range in real time. And here's the unsettling part. Geologists still can't agree on exactly how old it is. Estimates range from 10 million to over 300 million years. The uncertainty alone spans longer than the age of the dinosaurs. Fact number 20, rocks older than animal life. At Grandfather Mountain in North Carolina, erosion exposed rocks more than 1 billion years old. Not old by human standards, old by planetary standards. Those rocks formed before complex animal life existed on Earth. Before reptiles, before fish, before forests. You can stand on a mountain made from material that existed before life ever walked on land. And the same erosion that exposed those rocks is still slowly destroying them. The landscape under the landscape. The Appalachians have two versions of themselves. The surface you can see, and another world underneath it. That underground world is filled with tunnels, rivers, caves, fire, and entire systems that don't appear on normal maps. Fact number 19, rivers that vanish into the earth. In parts of Virginia and West Virginia, streams suddenly disappear. Not dry up, not slow down. Disappear directly into the ground. Large sections of the Appalachians sit on limestone bedrock, which dissolves slowly when exposed to acidic groundwater. Over millions of years, this created enormous underground tunnel systems known as karst networks. Entire rivers sink underground, travel through hidden chambers for miles, then reappear somewhere else as springs. And because those systems are connected, contamination entering one county can spread underground into another county's water supply within hours. The underground is not separate from the landscape. It is the landscape. Fact number 18, the underground lake nobody expected. Beneath Tennessee lies the Lost Sea, the largest underground lake in the United States. The cave system above it stretches through massive chambers hidden below the mountains, and divers still haven't fully mapped the flooded passages extending beyond the visible lake. For millions of years, this entire system existed in darkness beneath the surface without most people knowing it was there. An entire hidden landscape sat under ordinary ground. Fact number 17. The fire burning inside the mountains. In 1962, a fire accidentally ignited underground coal seams beneath Centralia, Pennsylvania. The flames spread into abandoned mine tunnels, where oxygen and fuel remain trapped beneath the town. The fire has never stopped burning. Smoke still rises through cracks in roads and empty fields where neighborhoods once stood. The ground in some places is warm to the touch. Experts believe enough coal remains underground for the fire to continue another 250 years. The Appalachians have been burning from the inside for over 60 years. Some Appalachian mysteries are geological. Others are historical, biological, or atmospheric. And several remain officially unresolved. Fact number 16. The Brown Mountain Lights. For over a century, strange glowing lights have appeared above Brown Mountain in North Carolina. Witnesses describe floating orbs that hover, shift direction, rise from valleys, or suddenly disappear. Reports go back so far that Cherokee oral traditions describe similar lights before European settlement. Federal investigators studied the phenomenon repeatedly. No explanation fully accounted for every sighting. Theories include ball lightning, seismic gases, and electromagnetic effects linked to the region's quartz-rich geology. None have been confirmed conclusively. The lights still appear today. Fact number 15. The people nobody could categorize. For generations, historians could not explain the origins of the Melungeons, an isolated Appalachian community concentrated in Tennessee and Virginia. Their appearance, ancestry, and oral traditions didn't fit neatly into existing categories. Some claim Portuguese descent. Others were labeled Native American, European, or African depending on who was observing them. Modern DNA analysis eventually confirmed mixed European, African, and Native ancestry. But for centuries, entire communities existed in these mountains as a historical question nobody could answer. Isolation in Appalachia was powerful enough to create populations the outside world struggled to classify. Fact number 14. The salamanders that don't have lungs. The Appalachians contain more salamander species than anywhere else on Earth. Many of them don't have lungs. These salamanders breathe entirely through their skin and the lining of their mouths, absorbing oxygen directly from the cool, damp air around them. That means even small environmental changes can threaten them. Slight shifts in moisture, water chemistry, or temperature can collapse entire populations. Scientists now monitor salamanders as living indicators of ecosystem health. And in several Appalachian regions, those populations are declining, where science still has questions. The oldest mountains on Earth are still producing phenomena modern science doesn't fully understand. Not metaphorically, literally. Fact number 13. The mountains that create their own atmosphere. The Blue Ridge Mountains appear blue for a real chemical reason. Trees throughout the range release compounds called isoprenes into the air. When sunlight interacts with those chemicals, blue wavelengths scatter more effectively through the atmosphere. The forests are literally generating their own haze. It's a biological climate system built over millions of years. Now, modern pollution is altering that chemistry in ways scientists are still trying to understand. Fact number 12, the moonbow. At Cumberland Falls in Kentucky, a rainbow appears at midnight. Moonbows are extremely rare because they require a precise combination of moonlight, mist, clear skies, and viewing angle. Cumberland Falls is one of the few places on Earth where the phenomenon occurs consistently. To the naked eye, the bow often appears white. Only cameras reveal the full hidden spectrum of color. You can stand there at midnight, watching a pale arc rise above dark water, while your own eyes fail to show you what is actually there. Fact number 11, fire behind a waterfall. At Eternal Flame Falls in New York, natural gas seeps through cracks behind a waterfall and burns continuously. A flame flickers directly behind falling water. What makes the site scientifically important is that the gas appears to form through geological processes researchers didn't fully expect at such low temperatures. A tiny flame hidden inside Appalachia is forcing revisions to existing shale geology models. Fact number 10, the balds that shouldn't exist. High in the southern Appalachians are enormous grassy mountaintop meadows known as balds. Places like Roan Mountain and Max Patch should be covered in dense forest. The soil, rainfall, and elevation all support tree growth. Yet for thousands of years, these open meadows remain treeless. Scientists propose theories involving native burning, grazing by extinct megafauna, or unusual soil conditions. No explanation has been fully confirmed. Now the forests are slowly reclaiming the balds. Something maintained them for millennia. Whatever it was, appears to have stopped. Fact number 9, the mountain that became an instrument. Deep inside Virginia's Luray Caverns sits the world's largest musical instrument. The Great Stalacpipe organ connects electronic mallets to naturally resonant stalactites spread throughout the cave system. Each formation produces a specific musical tone. Some of those stalactites required thousands of years to grow. The mountain spent centuries building an instrument before humans realized it could be played. Fact number 8, the Ice Age still living in West Virginia. Dolly Sod's West Virginia feels more like northern Canada than the American South. Its elevation preserves a cold microclimate filled with bogs, cranberries, sphagnum moss, and wind-twisted spruce forests left behind after the last ice age. It's essentially a surviving fragment of glacial era North America, and scientists warn that warming temperatures may eventually erase it. Fact number 7, Pennsylvania's Hidden Canyon. Pine Creek Gorge cuts 1,400 feet into Pennsylvania's landscape. Formed by glacial meltwater, it's often called the Grand Canyon of Pennsylvania, despite remaining almost absent from the national imagination. The Appalachians still hide enormous landscapes in plain sight. Fact number 6, the forest gravity protected. Most eastern old-growth forests were destroyed during the logging era. Linville Gorge survived because its cliffs were too steep and dangerous for large-scale timber extraction. Some trees there predate the American Revolution. The forest survived because the mountain made it inconvenient to destroy. Fact number 5, Tennessee's lost tropical world. A fossil site discovered in Tennessee revealed evidence of rhinos, tapirs, red pandas, and alligators once living in Appalachia. 5 million years ago, this region supported a much warmer climate than today. The mountains people associate with cool forests once resembled a subtropical ecosystem. Fact number 4, the Appalachians don't end where you think. Most people imagine the Appalachians ending somewhere around Tennessee or Georgia. Geologically, they continue much farther south into Mississippi. The chain extends beyond the visible mountains, continuing underground through formations connected to the same ancient collision that built the Blue Ridge. The Appalachians are larger than the map suggests. Fact number 3, the highest peak in the east. Mount Mitchell in North Carolina rises 6,684 feet above sea level, the highest point east of the Mississippi River. Its summit climate is so cold that the forests resemble parts of Canada more than the American South. But invasive insects have devastated many of the Fraser fir trees that define the ecosystem. Entire mountaintop forests are dying tree by tree. Fact number 2, the forest that can predict collapse. Deep in the Appalachian forests, scientists monitor species most people never notice. Salamanders, mosses, lichens, tiny organisms living on the forest floor. Because in ecosystems this old, the smallest changes appear there first. The Appalachians contain some of the most biologically sensitive environments in North America. Slight increases in temperature, shifts in rainfall, or changes in water chemistry can ripple outward through entire mountain systems long before humans recognize the damage. In some monitored regions, salamander populations are already collapsing. High-elevation spruce forests are retreating. Streams that remained chemically stable for centuries are beginning to change. The unsettling part is that these mountains function almost like a living sensor network. The forests react before we do. And because Appalachia has remained ecologically connected for so long, scientists increasingly treat the region as an early warning system for broader environmental change across eastern North America. The oldest mountains on Earth are still changing, and they may be telling us something before we fully understand how to listen. Fact number 1, the mountains are still happening. Every mystery in Appalachia connects to the same reality. These mountains are not static. The underground rivers, unexplained lights, shrinking balds, Disappearing salamanders, ancient forests, and isolated communities are all part of systems shaped by 500 million years of uninterrupted geological time. The Appalachians are old enough to contain processes modern science still doesn't fully understand. The forests built their own atmospheric chemistry. Underground aquifers formed long before human infrastructure existed. Ice Age ecosystems still survive on isolated plateaus. Entire populations remained hidden in the mountains long enough to confuse historians for centuries. The Appalachians are not mysterious because they're supernatural. They're mysterious because our science is still young compared to the mountains themselves. The lights are real. The rivers really disappear. The people were always there. And these mountains were already ancient before the Atlantic Ocean existed. The Appalachians are the oldest mountains on Earth, and they continue producing phenomena modern science still struggles to fully explain. Which fact changed your understanding of Appalachia the most? Drop the number.